Hi, my name is Abeygunawardena. Today I'm going to discuss about the agency relationship. An agency occurs whenever you get two people and one person is doing work on behalf of the other person. The person who is doing the work, they are called the agent, and the person who is receiving the benefit is called the principal. The main thing about the agency relationship is that both of these parties are self-interested. That means they're going to do whatever suits them the best. However, it makes a lot of sense that the agent, because they're doing work for the principal, the agent should be doing what's in the best interest for the principal. This is also called the producer-bearer relationship. The thing about the producer-bearer relationship is that the agent doesn't always follow what's in the best principal's interest. This makes a lot of sense. As I mentioned before, everyone's self-interested. The other thing about the agent relationship is that it's all around the society, but all relationships involving an agent is not an agency relationship. Next I'm going to discuss what is an agency cost and why agency costs exist between shareholders and management, which they are also called the principals and agents. At last, I'll give some examples of some potential agency costs. Agency costs are defined as the costs borne by shareholders to encourage managers to maximize shareholder wealth rather than behave in their own self-interest. A corporation's managers may have personal goals that compete with the owner's goal of maximization of profit. It is also called shareholder wealth. Since the shareholders authorize managers to administer the firm's assets, a potential conflict of interest exists between the two groups. There are three major types of agency costs. Monitoring costs. It is the expenditure to monitor managerial activities such as audit costs. The second one is the bonding cost, which is the expenditures to structure the organization in a way that will limit undesirable managerial behavior, such as appointing outside members to the board of directors or restructuring the company's business units and management hierarchy. The last one I'm going to discuss is the residual costs. It is the opportunity costs which are incurred when shareholders impose restrictions, such as requirements for shareholders' votes on specific issues, and limit the ability of managers to take actions that advise shareholder wealth. And next I'm going to discuss how managers' remuneration is designed to reduce the effect of agency cost. There are two polar positions of dealing with shareholder-manager agency conflicts. At one extreme, the firm's managers are compensated entirely on the basis of stock price changes. In this case, agency costs will be low because managers have great incentives to maximize shareholder wealth. It would be extremely difficult, however, to hire talented managers under these contractual terms because the firm's earnings would be affected by economic events that are not under managerial control. At the other extreme, stockholders could monitor every managerial action, but this would be extremely costly and inefficient. The optimal solution lies between the extremes, where executives' compensation is tied to performance, but some monitoring is also undertaken. Now, we're going to discuss some examples of short-term and long-term incentives, which are included in the management remuneration. We are also going to explain how each of them reduce agency costs. First, I'm going to take short-term incentives. For example, annual incentives, bonuses, commissions, and like other rewards individual employees for achieving certain goal of a shorter period. The measurement period for short-term incentives is most often quarterly, semi-annually, or annually. Short-term incentives can be measured based on the individual's own performance, group or team performance, or the company's overall performance. This depends on the organization, the incentive plan, and the level of the individual within the organizational hierarchy. And first, let's discuss about bonuses. This typically means paying bonuses to management if and when share price increases, or by making the management salary partial shares in the company. These monetary incentives are an example of agency costs. If the incentives plan works correctly, however, these agency costs will be lower than the cost of allowing the management to act in its own interests. Next, I'm going to discuss about long-term incentives. For example, shares, restricted shares, performance shares, restricted stock plans, executive stock options, and like to measure organization-wide performance throughout the year. The intent of such plan is to provide incentives for employees to improve the overall performance of the organization by linking the employees' long-term rewards to the organization and long-term results. With this, the agency cost can be reduced. Now, how does stock option reduce agency cost? It's simple. By increasing the risk of the firm, managers can increase the value of the stock. By options increasing the leverage of the firm, the executives might increase the risk of the firm, and thus the value of the option holdings, since executives are being compensated with stock options. They will have an incentive to increase firm variance so as to increase the value of these stocks. The executives can increase firm variance directly by taking on term variance. Increasing investments, the executives can also increase firm variance indirectly through increased leverage. Generally speaking, if leverage of the firm is increased, and firm variance will also increase, the outcome of this will be a reduction in agency cost. And here's my reference list. Thank you.